Hi, everybody. How are we doing today? How's everything going? Let's just make that full screen, okay? This is John Nelson. Thank you very much for joining us for the agency owners and digital marketers using Go High Level live Q&A, such as it is here. So we're happy to have you guys along. Hopefully, we've got the technology straightened out, and by they I mean we, and we I mean me. Hopefully, I have the technology straightened out to make this quite the evening. So I will do my best to answer questions and different things as they happen here. But as it is, we I've got some things to talk about today, and that is the cost of a bad reputation. Now, for those of you who may have paid just even casual attention when we kind of took over this Facebook group, we started talking about something like this. And I posted a video out there that actually had some numbers and had some different things about it that would help deal with that and address the cost of a bad reputation. But as it is, I wanted to dive a little deeper, and I wanted to add a little different take and a more updated explanation, because that was a little over like a couple of years old now, year and a half old. So, but not a lot of it's changed, but it bears repeating because we see this all the time. In fact, I've become a better steward of reviews, giving reviews, and not only checking out reviews in the 5 years since I've been very active in digital marketing. So I wanted to pass this along in the hopes that this will help you. And then I did not include this as a slide, but we'll talk about how to do this in Go High Level. And there are some little different approaches, and they, for one, have sort of upped their reputation management game. So we'll get into that here in just a little bit, using all of that. So I'm not paying attention to the comments at the moment. I apologize, but I will do my best to circle back to some of those as they come in, if they come in. But first, a little bit about me and what gives me the right to, come on here and do this, other than I'm friends with the owner. It's a whole lot more than that, thankfully. So been in marketing about 5 years actively as a digital marketer since 2018. So yeah, that'd be a little over 5 years from when I discovered it. Before that, though, there's been about 10 years in various forms of sales and marketing. For the companies I was a part of, I was usually the web designer and the brand manager and anything else along those lines, because there was nobody else that knew how to do it. And so I knew to do it before I knew to do it. And then whenever I saw the power of digital marketing really come around about 5 years ago, even though it's been around a lot longer than that, it was revealed to me. And it just, all of a sudden, I discovered so many of the things that I was already doing, but wasn't doing as well, could be helped with all kinds of, add-ons and different services and things that we can offer to really get customers clients, because that's what it was all about. The other way around, I guess, to get the clients, the customers. So before that, 20 years as a managing partner and usually the director of business operations in several businesses that we had. And so I've done everything. I've done IT, I've done HR, had to roll out insurance plans and benefits plans to people. I've done warranty, I've done shipping and logistics. I've done pretty much everything, almost, except for accounting. Haven't really done accounting, and hadn't done enough sales to that point, though that has very much since changed during those businesses. But I was, there's a lot I took away from that, and those are not small businesses. They ranged, they ranged from about 5 people up to about 200 at our high point in 3 locations. So it made life very, very interesting. But only 2 years of experience in Go High Level. And I hear some of you jumping up and down, going out there, I have 4 and 5 years experience. Why am I not up there? Well, mine has been a very, very, very deep dive, a geekishly deep dive into Go High Level. So while I know a lot of things about Go High Level, I don't know everything. I'm not sure even the people who work for Go High Level in upper management know everything about Go High Level sometimes, just because there is so much of it. There is so much to learn. There's so much to explore, and there's so much possibility that you can do with it, which is one of the reasons we wanted to start this group and really get this going. So I hope you'll allow me at least a few minutes to talk to you about something that maybe will resonate with you, as in the way that you work with your clients. Maybe it won't. It's a minor thing in the grand scheme of stuff. It's not as cool or as sexy, dare I say, as websites or SEO or ads or lead gen or some of those things. But it's a very basic thing that, if done right, can really, really cement your client's brand. If it's done wrong, it can have the opposite effect. And so that's what we're going to talk about here. So let's talk about reputation management and reviews. Where do you get reviews from? We all know this. You get them from Google. Now, people can review on Google, and particularly the Google Business Profile is where they can leave reviews for you. That is the only place actively on Google that I'm aware of. You can also do this on Facebook pages that are set up to be businesses. You can leave there's it's harder to find, but it's there. You can leave a review section for businesses. But here's the part that not everybody knows. And to be honest, I didn't know it until it was revealed to me. So, okay, you have all these other directories out there. You have the Yelps, the Foursquares, even MSN, City Search. Name your search out there. You name your directory out there where places can be listed. Particularly if you're a restaurant, that would be Yelp, or some of the other ones, TripAdvisor and all those. Guess where they get their information from? Google. They all reference Google. Google sells that information for you, about you on the back end, to those search engines, so in those directories. So you end up there anyway if you wait long enough. Or you can sign up with a service like Yext, or there's a handful of others. One called Citation Vault that I use, that will propel you that much faster into those. But if you wait long enough, Google will sell that back channel information to all those other directories, and then your place ends up there anyhow, including some sites that you wouldn't necessarily think would draw their information from that. The BBB Onlines and those sorts of people, they at least start with those listings pulled from other businesses, and then they add their own spin on it. Okay, so that all starts from Google. So reviews and your presence, your online presence, is very important, because then it spreads you there. But also the same can be said, all the reviews get pulled in, and at least they take that as a basis from Google as well as from Facebook. So they start with that, and then many of them have their own components that they can add to do those reviews. So let's talk about the cost of a bad reputation. Now, to understand that and to understand the model, you have to understand something called customer lifetime value. When your client brings in a new customer, the amount of time that they spend there versus, plus or times how many multiplied by how much they spend each trip, it will get you your customer lifetime value. So let's say, for example, it's a hairstylist, it's a hairdresser. Okay, so somebody comes in there, and let's use you ladies, because unfortunately, I'm not sure what this rule is, but it is one that the amount that a salon charges a lady to go in there versus a man to go in there, on the average, is like 5, 6, 7 times more than the guys. And I've had this confirmed by people. It's true. It's not saying it to be mean. It's true. Okay, so let's just say, for the sake of argument, that your average lady going to a hairdresser spends $60 a trip, right? So they go roughly every month, maybe every month and a half. Let's just say every month for the sake of argument. Okay, and they tend to stay with that person sometimes a long time. Really, they're very loyal for the most part. But let's just say on the average it's 2 years. Okay, just for the sake of argument. So that's 24 months, right? So 24 times 60. So 6 times 4 is 24. 6 times 2 is 12, and 2 is 14. So you're $1,440. Let's just say. Okay, I'm guessing at that, but I think I'm pretty close. Okay, so $1,440. Let's even say $1,500, just to round it up, just for ease of math. And so that $1,500 is your customer lifetime value for a hairdresser that you're getting some leads for, right? So that's how you figure out the customer lifetime value. And that's important for lots of reasons. This it's a selling point. You can say, well, my service is this expensive, but you're getting from each one of your customers, each one that I bring you, nets you $1,500. In over the lifetime they'll stay with you. If we work it out, they might even stay longer, and we increase that customer lifetime value. So how about that? So you can use it in so many ways, but it's important here for our discussion because there's a cost if you start getting. So let's go to the next thing here. So for every, it's been statistically calculated, and I can post this later in the comments where the reference came from, but for every review, every point below 4 stars, so every star rating decrease, you lose 22% of your audience, of your potential audience that you're looking for. So somebody sees 2 businesses, okay? So one is a 4.5 rating, 4.5 stars out of 5. This is out of 5. And the other is, let's just say, a 3.2. They had a really, they don't treat their customers that well. They really don't care. They don't respond. They don't do anything. So there are worse, but that's down there. Okay. You start getting to a 3 rating, then 22% of that audience is going to see that and go, yeah, maybe not. I'm going to go over here to these guys that have an over 4 rating. They must be doing a good job. And all their reviews are they're more than just simple stuff. They look like there's people actually using them and referencing folks in there. I'm going to go try them. So that's 22% of your audience that goes away every single time that now this is averages, of course. So you may get an occasional 1 or 2 star rating for just a bad go, and all you can do is just write that off. That's probably the mathematical situation is that's going to push you down faster than it will raise you, than getting good ones will raise you up, and that's unfortunate, but that's the way math works, particularly in averages. But if you get consistently lower numbers and you let it slip that point, you're going to lose the 22% of the audience. And you say, well, okay, let's say my audience of people I'm out there trying to talk to is 1,000 people, right? I'm reaching out to 1,000 people in a given area, and that they may want to come use this shop. Those numbers are probably higher. They're more like 5,000 or 6,000, but let's just go with that for the moment for easy math. Okay. So losing 22% of them is not the end of the world. Okay. It can be overcome. That's, I'm down. That's, a couple hundred people. That's 800 people. 220 people. So then that puts you down to 880 potential people that could be showing and might even consider your services. Okay. So not the end of the world, because you say that's a smaller pool, right? So what's your best rate of return that you get from your prospecting tactics that you use, that you recommend to your clients? Let's exclude referrals for a minute. You know how I feel about referrals. If not, there's plenty of videos that back up how I feel about referrals. They rock. But anything with a 75 plus, percentage rate of return, a probability that somebody's going to sign up is awesome in my books. However, so let's set that aside for a second and go to the next one down. So your average lead generation campaign, your average message marketing campaign, what will those get you? 10%, 20% maybe, if you're really good. If it's a really good offer, 20% is possible. Okay. So that's 20% of the people who might consider what you're offering if it's a really good deal, instead of 1,000, out of 880 people. So you with me so far? So that's that percentage. Well, so instead of 20% of 1,000, so 200 people might consider that. All right, that'd be a glorious day at the hairdressers for that. Okay, but so when you reduce that overall, you still keep that 20%. So 880 people, 20% of that becomes more like 140 or something, something quite a bit lower. So you're decreasing that, but the other thing is you are also decreasing the quality of the prospect. Okay, who would consider, what quality of prospect, what type of person would consider, going to someplace with a 3.2 review rating versus a 4.5? These are people that either don't know or don't care. it doesn't bother them. But, see, the thing is, they're going to along with that 3.2 rating, they're going to look down and they're probably going to see comments on things that people have left, and they're not going to be as good. So you're going to get a lower quality person coming in here trying this. And so it really actually decreases the numbers a lot more. I don't have the math on this because it's kind of subjective, but I've got to believe if me as a consumer, for my wife, because we're back on the ladies at the hair salon. If you're looking for, helping her to find, a perfect hairdresser for her, I'm going to look at stuff like that. Not only the 3.2 rating, but I'm going to look at what people are saying about it. By the same token, I'll look at the 4.5 rating and see what people are saying about that and say, you really should try this over here. It's great. This is why. So you get a lower quality prospect looking for this. And so it really, if you don't pay attention to reviews, this is something that will sneak up on you for every one of your clients. Trust me. They'll get lower review scores. The quality of people won't be there. The clients that come in will be lousy or don't care. And it just makes it even worse. I mean, you get some of those anyway, but you get a lower caliber of people that are, just don't care or use that or are difficult or something. And so they just make it worse. And so it's just this downward spiral that you get into that you just don't have to get into. So, this is something that if you don't watch it and if you don't try to prevent it and if you don't coach your clients on it, it's going to mess you up. It's going to do it in ways that are harder to overcome than they should be. Okay. So there are some ways, there are 5 rules, in fact, about how to deal with the client's reputation and how to get it back up there to where it needs to be. If you have a bad 1 or 2 reviews or something, I mean, they're going to happen. They happen to everybody, and that's okay. You can't please everybody all the time, but you can. Sorry, I'm getting a little bit of cold, so I'm going to do that every now and then. But I mean, you can't please everybody all the time, no matter how hard you try. You're sometimes just going to have issues, and so you have to kind of work with that. So we'll talk about that in just a second here, but I do want to take a second. Yes, and I can hear this now. Okay, so for those of you who haven't noticed, at the bottom of the screen, besides the bottom of this screen, the bottom of every other screen, there's something that says Atlas Agency Launch Lab. So that is not only one of the major sponsors of this Facebook group, it's also the amazing project of the owner and the founder and myself as well, and about 3 or 4 other coaches that all have our own agencies that all do our own thing. But at the same time, we have come together because we have seen this value and believe in the value of what it's a training program. So if your agency is kind of stuck in a rut, if you're out there and you have some things going, but you're getting tired, you're not bringing in the clients like you were, things are changing, and for some reason you can't keep up. So we have figured out, we've gone through a lot of trainings ourselves from various sources, and most of them are wonderful. They're very, very good at what they did. Some of them are overall courses. Some of them are very, specific to certain situations. Upwork, LinkedIn, even TikTok at some point for some of us. So, I mean, they're very specific issues, but there's nothing that we have found that really answered things on the level that we wanted. So we went out and built it ourselves, or specifically, Sheena Lee Kennerly and Zach Kennerly built it themselves, and they got us to come along and contribute our pieces to it. And there are some very important pieces there. So this Saturday, we're having a webinar to talk about that, how you can turn that agency around, how you can reignite things in just 90 days. I mean, if you're willing to commit to that, if you're really in the rut, your agency is in the rut that it is, or you personally are in there, and you believed in this digital marketing thing, and it's worked for a while, but now things have started to taper off. The clients aren't coming like they used to. You feel like you're banging your head against a wall, prospecting to people, and it's just not happening. You're constantly reaching out, doing those random posts in Facebook groups, and it's not happening for you. There are better ways. There are ways evolve, ways grow and change and evolve. And in this industry, that cycle is about every 6 months or so. Things we are doing now, we were not doing, certainly we're not doing a year ago, and we were not doing 6 to 9 months ago. So, I mean, things are changing, and it's not just due to AI. It's due to different ways of thinking. It's due to old ways of thinking that have been around forever from business strategy that marketers are just now discovering. So, if you will allow us a little bit of time, it's absolutely free on Saturday. You're welcome to come and check it out. It's in a different group. The website is there below. I will put it in the comments as well. So you have this link directly, so you can go click on it and go check it out. Because we're going to share trainings and secrets and things we haven't shared before on any other lives. Now you've seen I've rebroadcast or put out most of the lives that I've been a part of with Atlas Agency Launch Lab. But there are others as well. There's other groups. There's a technique called brain spotting, and I'm going to try to get Jennifer on here to talk about it at some point, because it's something I've never heard of, but it is fascinating, and it's now catching fire. I mean, people are starting to pay attention to this because it helps you understand your clients all the more, helps you get your mindset into a different place than you have been before, and then to get out there. There'll be some things about AI. We've got an AI guru. I mean, he eats, sleeps, drinks, talks to, hangs out with AI all day long. His name is Chris, and you'll really like him. So he'll be on there for one of the first times. I'll be on there presenting some things about how to get results quickly with when you start with Go High Level, and we'll have some freebies and some things to give away. So if you're interested in doing that, go visit the website at the bottom there. It's atlasagencylaunchlab.xyz/webinar. It is this Saturday morning at 10 a.m. Central. That's about 5 p.m. London time. And sorry, Australia and folks in that Eastern Hemisphere, but it's pretty late in the night for you. But we will try to make sure that we leave it up long enough for if you're attending and we know you're from there, we'll make sure that you get access to it and that you get access to all the stuff. So, and we'll be doing those probably once a month or so, that we will lay this out. And then if you after hearing all that and seeing what we have there, if you're interested in reigniting this deal for your agency, it costs something. It's on a great special right now, like 40% off. And it won't be that way for very long. But if you're willing to do that and commit to that, then you'll get training, you will get hand holding. I tell everybody, there's a company here in Houston, Texas, where I am, and I don't remember the name of them. I was going to research it before this, but basically they design very high-end custom vehicles, custom cars, trucks, everything. They just delivered a like 1,000 horsepower Dodge remake to Michael Jordan. And he's got, I believe it was Michael Jordan, and he's got like a super long road on his property in Florida, and that's perfect for running this thing like a drag racer. But it's like 1,000 horsepower car. They do these unbelievable mods to these vehicles, or they sort of create new ones on their own. It's like a very high end Barracuda or something like that. But I don't remember the name of the business. I need to look it up because I see stuff about them all the time and what they're doing, because they probably have shows on cable TV someplace or on the internet, but they show all the modifications. So it's like with that, it's like having them build a car for you, you watching the entire time, watching the process being built, you being educated by every single one of the mechanics, the artisans, everybody who touches that car. They come along and they take the time to walk you through and educate you with every step as to how they're doing what they're doing, and let you have a little piece of it. You get to watch it happening right there, and then they don't leave until you understand it. And then at the end of the day, they hand you the keys to the car. At the end of the proverbial 90 days here, they hand you the keys to the car, and not only how to drive it, but how to drive it for maximum performance. And you can get in and take that car off and have a vehicle like none other, and have have it in such a way where, I mean, you are getting the absolute max gas mileage and performance out of that vehicle, and it's the ride of your life. It's like nothing else you've ever done in your life. That sounds extreme, but that's a lot of what is attractive about Atlas Agency Launch Lab. That's the level of value we're providing to our students, and not every training program out there is doing that. So if that's something you really want to consider, there's plenty of opportunity. There will be opportunities for you to sign up and do that. There will also be a chance there'll be some great giveaways, including a chance to win your entire tuition for the program paid for. One lucky person is going to get that. If they sign up, is going to get that completely paid for. So we'll go through all that. But that's a lot about Atlas Agency Launch Lab, probably more time than I intended to take on it, but I do get passionate about it. I think it's cool and amazing, even if I wasn't, selling it as an opportunity. I should have done it. I wish it was around whenever I was going through, but the fact is, some of us went through some of the same programs together and realized what we didn't know what we didn't know. So this is how these things evolve, and it turns into something special. So visit the website. I'll put it in the comments if you're wanting to give that webinar a shot. That is Saturday morning and or Saturday evening into Sunday morning, depending on where you are in the world. So we hope to see you guys on that soon. Now let's get back to what we're doing here. This is the 5 rules. 5 rules. So we're talking about reputation management, right? After all the webinar things are done, we're talking about reputation management. So these are the 5 rules of how to fix and how to maintain good reputation management and how to boost it. Rule number 1 sounds stupid simple, but it is respond to reviews. I don't care if they're good. I don't care if they're bad. Rule number 1, without a doubt, rule number 1, respond to reviews. If it's good, it makes it all the easier. If it's bad, try your level best to have a solution, to have an offer. We'll talk about some of that in just a second, but respond to them, acknowledge them. I'm so sorry you're having this difficult problem. This is what look at reviews sometime. If you don't believe me that this works, look at reviews and look at what happens when people respond and look at what happens when they don't respond. Okay? There is a difference. And people will comment on that, and they will get ugly if you don't respond to something, particularly if somebody's upset. They will get mad. They will get ugly. They will get even more. They will go out of their way to hurt you. So do yourself a favor, do your client a favor, and coach them to respond. Okay? I can't say it enough, and I'm going to say it a lot because it's way too important and way too easy. Okay, so second thing, this is something else people don't do. And again, didn't dawn on me until later, but ask for reviews in the first place. Okay, everybody's scared of getting the bad review, so they don't ask for reviews. So ask for reviews. Build it into Go High Level. Sorry, there's a storm coming, and my dog's not very happy about that. So they'll ask for reviews whenever things are, build it into your workflows and Go High Level. This is one of the ways that we can incorporate this into Go High Level. Okay, so let's take a second, since we don't have a slide for it, and just talk about it. Okay, so you have your appointment set up already, right? So add a little bit more to the appointment workflow at the end for, say, 15 days later. Give them a chance to experience the service first. Otherwise, you're going to get a hollow review. I mean, if it's for something like website development and you haven't produced the website yet, So give them a chance, give a little bit of a chance to respond, or create a separate workflow that allows that to happen. So then you send them an email, send them a text message, you can't send them a social media message. They can only respond. But send them an email or a text message, SMS message, and ask them to respond. Hey, did we do a good job for you? How did we do? How did we do with this? You could even take it a step further and get testimonials. You can send them a, hey, how did we do sort of thing. And then you can add a video. There's services like Vouch and there are services like Video Ask that you can actually have them leave a video review or video testimonial for you, in addition to the review itself. So, I mean, you can do all of those things that are absolutely amazing, to bolster that review if you only ask, and plus they're more likely to leave a positive review if you ask than the negative ones that they have to come and search you out. That's kind of the misconception here, is that you're more likely to get a positive review if you ask than otherwise, even if it's okay, they didn't have a lot to say, but they gave you 4 stars. Hey, 4 stars, 4 stars. I'll take it all day long. Okay. So that's rule number 2. Okay. Rule number 3. Okay. Keep the ball in their court. What does that mean? So when this applies mostly to negative reviews for a second. Okay. So positive reviews, you don't have to deal with this. Negative reviews, when you get a negative review, they want something. They want something to satisfy them. They want some sort of make good, whether it's right, wrong, fair, not fair, otherwise, they want something out of it. Okay. Or they should be offered something out of it, even if they just did this out of the, trying to help you sort of thing, but I'm going to give you this bad review. Well, you're really not helping me, are you? So it's good to have an offer, have a compromise, have something you can live with that you can offer them, something you can respond to, because we go back to rule number 1, respond to them with preferably with some sort of offer or compromise or make good, or at the very least, start asking them. If you don't have that in hand, that's okay. You may not. Start asking them questions about their experience. What was it about this you didn't like? What did we do that was so wrong? And then as they put it, then do your homework, do some investigation. I've seen reviews where people come back and say, well, in fact, and you have to deal with this because there are fake reviews out there too. Okay. Let's be honest. So I've seen people come back and say, well, I did some checking and we never shipped that to you. We shipped this to you instead. And here's when it arrived and you signed for it, So yeah. So what was it about you didn't like? So then you throw the ball back on them, because some people do just want something for nothing, or they want to make noise, or they just want to be idiots. And I don't know why that is, but it is. I don't understand that about people. So, but if you always give it back to them with don't be ugly, be very polite, be very kind, be very gracious, even when it's a negative review, even when you're smiling while you are cutting them to pieces with the truth. Okay. Smile while you do it. Okay. Be polite while you do it. Do not resort to, in the textual sense, yelling and name calling and stuff like that. I mean, the truth will set you free on that. It's all sorts of ways, and for us smart Alex in the world, and there's another word for it, but for those of us out there, and I'm one of them, watching them wiggle with that is kind of satisfying in a way. And smiling while you do it very much is cathartic sometimes to watch people, but only go back and do that if you have the truth. But you always keep the ball, make them make decisions, make them call it off, make them do something different. Okay. And this leads me to my next point. All right. So if somebody has wronged you and you have either given you a bad review, I'm sorry, and then you have provided a solution, you have provided a make good, you have provided something that satisfies them, or you have provided the truth that satisfies them, then you have the right to say, they don't have the right to do it, but you certainly have the right to say, okay, now would you mind going back and changing that and updating that? Now that if I've satisfied the problem and I've addressed the problem for you, will you, and you typically don't want to do this in the course of the review conversation. Take it offline if you can. Get their contact information, get their email address, their phone number, whatever, and reach out to them that way and say, okay, now would you mind terribly going back and redoing this? Okay, please. This is the wrong, and I've got a great example for you. And I've shared this in other lives, but I'm going to share it again because not everybody's heard it. Okay. So one of the businesses I was a managing partner of is a transportation equipment company. It's in fact a dealership that sold big over-the-road flatbed and drop deck trailers. We sold and rented containers. We sold and rented portable buildings. We did all sorts of things like that. And there was a situation where, and we had a parts side of it, and there was an exchange, I guess, that happened, and the two people that were driving kind of knew about us, knew they could come camp here for a minute, no problem. And so they arranged to meet in our yard. Had nothing to do with us other than our location. So this lady pulled in the yard, this delivery driver, and she was sitting there waiting for a long time. And turns out this other guy never showed up to pick up the stuff and to make the exchange and the transfer. Well, she went on and gave us a bad rating because she somehow thought we were connected to it, I guess. Or she looked up whoever the name was and okay, that must be them. So I'm going to give hey, this is all their fault. So we reached out to her, and our general manager did at the time, and said, hey, we didn't know anything about this. If we knew anything about this, we'd do something about it. We had nothing. We're not that company. You guys were sitting on our yard. This had nothing to do with us at all. And so once I cleared that up, she was, oh, okay, I didn't mean to do that. And he said, well, meantime, you gave us this really bad review out here for not doing anything. Would you mind changing that? And she did. She went back and changed it and edited it and made it better. So people do change. People can change these things if you do your due diligence and you make it right and you come to a solution with them and you come to an agreement with them, or you coach your client to do these things. They will change that review and they will push that back up. So it does happen. Don't let anybody tell you it doesn't. It doesn't happen with everybody, but it does happen. It can happen. Okay. So finally, rule number 5, when in doubt, see rule number 1, respond to every review. It is so simple and nobody is doing it. Not enough people are doing it. They are not responding. The smart ones are. If you look at TripAdvisor, it's loaded with it. People respond to the reviews. Okay? They do all the time because they gain standing. They get points for doing that. You get points from Google for doing it. You get points from the different, if you're a travel thing and you end up on TripAdvisor, you get points there. You get points on Yelp for responding. They notice, they care, they see how you react to it. If nobody else does, Google does. Okay, they see that you react to these things. They see that you respond to these things. So please respond to reviews, because that will solve 90% of your review issues out there and keep things from unnecessarily going in a bad direction. Okay, so these are the 5 rules. Respond to reviews. That's 1 and 5 because you just can't say it enough. Ask for the review in the first place. Keep the ball in their court. Always keep with an offer, with a make good, with a compromise, with a something, with an addressing of the situation. And then if you get a bad review, ask for the change. Ask them to change it. You have that right. You can do that. You have that power. Your client has that power and that right. As a small business owner, you don't want to be held hostage by this, because they may not change it, but they certainly won't if you never ask. They will not go back and change it out of the goodness of their heart most of the time unless you ask them to do so. So that's reviews. That's how that works. And that's how to overcome a bad reputation. And that's how to raise those points up. That's how to do all those sorts of things, because it just makes a lot of sense. I don't necessarily see any, I kind of went to the other place there. I don't see any other questions in the chat. So I hope you guys found this helpful. I hope the ad wasn't too much, because it really is something that we're passionate about doing. And I hope this helped you. Please go away and think about it and spend some time thinking about reputation management and the role of it in your agency, the role of it in what you offer to your clients, and the role of it for how you treat it yourself. How do you get reviews? How do you respond to reviews? They make a big difference. There are also among these groups, I mean, if somebody wants to start one here, we can work that out. There are review circles where people are small groups of people that, reasonably trust each other, are getting those reviews up by providing little services for, sort of do nothing, not nothing altogether, but little something, not that big a deal, in exchange for a review. Give me a positive review. Someplace that's important, Google, Facebook, whatever, where you get a positive review for what you did. So review circles are a great way to do that. And as we said, in Go High Level, you can add that to your workflows, add that to your appointment workflows, or set up a separate workflow set up one as far as if somebody buys something, but you typically want to give it a little bit of time. So maybe make that a completely separate workflow from everything that you do, but work out your timing such that they get a little time to check everything out, to check out your handiwork, that they enjoy, or they have a reaction to what it is that you provided for them, and then ask them for that review, and then have things set up where you can respond to that, and you can work that out. So that's it for reputation. Thanks everybody for watching, and we'll talk to you guys real soon. I'm just double checking here. I think there's something going on in the comments. Maybe not. Okay. So let me double check this. Okay, I guess that's it. So thank you guys for watching. Really enjoyed it. We will see you this Thursday at 11 a.m. Central Time. That's about 5 p.m. or 6 hours, 5 p.m. in the UK. That is also, this was kind of the one for our folks in the Eastern Hemisphere on Tuesday nights. We do this at 6:30 p.m. Central on Tuesday nights, which is about 9:30 Sydney time tomorrow morning. So, certainly overnights there, but there'll be some other things that we talk about. If there's something that you want us to address, something you want us to talk about, put it in the comments here. Happy to do it. If you've not signed up for the specialist list, please go do that. Go set up yourself on the specialist list. Get your name listed. Get your business listed. Get your expertise out there. Everybody says they're a Go High Level expert in this group, but what sets us all apart? We'll find a way to set us all apart, will you? And you can do it there, because I have actually a challenge I'm going to be probably looking at here pretty quick, that I may need a specialist or two that maybe knows something about ActiveCampaign to help me with, and to sort of build a better system to convert things over that'll help me with one of my clients. So there's all kinds of needs like that, but that's the first place I'm going to look, guys. I'm not going to go through the group. We've decided that that's not the way this group is going to work. It's everybody pitching everything all the time. But anybody who wants to jump out and provide some value, some training, some things in advance, write an article. Don't make it a pitch, but write an actual article. Do a Loom video demonstrating something as to how it works. Give freely of yourself a little bit. I mean, you offer so many other services. And if there's a way maybe that you want to stand out to agency owners and a bunch of digital marketers, demonstrate something you know how to do well, and then put that into the group. So that's a great way to get you business. Okay, actually, bear with me just a second. Looks like I'm getting a couple of comments here. So yeah, there's some folks saying, welcome. So glad you're here. And let's see. Okay, yeah, we're talking about about reputation management and everything. So good to have you guys. Sorry, it's the way my screen is set up. I've got to, kind of get in here and do the Stevie Wonder thing. So it's a little harder to do that. You ever see old videos of him? He's doing this. It's really cool to watch. It's kind of catchy. Anyway, that's thanks for watching. We will talk to you real soon. I will address any comments that I somehow missed in the comments, and we'll talk to you guys real soon. Thanks for watching, and see you Thursday.